Have you ever wondered about the bones of a story? What did the outline look like before the characters hijacked it? Ophelia Kee always wondered the same things about her own stories. As a discovery writer, the chaotic pantser style, not even the author knew how the tales in the Draoithe Saga would go until they went. Backward analyzing one story while busy writing the next tale or two somehow never happened. Apparently, OK put things off long enough, and some fancy computer magic will provide us with those long-wished-for story overviews. We can finally X-ray the tales from the dream and see their skeletons. Shall we investigate the next story in the dream?
All right, let's jump right in. We're not just flipping through a book series today, we're going to tear apart the very foundation of an entire world. We're getting into the rules, the stakes, and the really unique magic of the Draoithe Saga. You know, this quote from the series itself really nails the vibe, doesn't it? The whole point isn't just to tell you a story, but to make you feel like you've actually stepped into another reality. And our job here is to basically hand you the roadmap to find your way around. So what even is the Draoithe Saga? Well, at its heart, it's this wild mix of steamy paranormal romance and some seriously high-stakes urban fantasy. It's a world where every myth, every legend, every fairy tale you've ever heard is real, and they're all tangled up in this huge struggle to fix a broken magical balance. And calling it a saga? That's totally on purpose. This isn't just a bunch of random stories thrown together. Nope. It's a living history, a chronicle of this immortal kingdom, and we see it all unfold through the eyes of the people who find their way there. And this brings us to something really, really important. How do they fight this epic magical war? Well, not with armies. They do it with connection. The entire saga is built on this incredible idea that the universe writes itself through the powerful bond of fated mates. So these huge world-altering conflicts, they're solved through intensely personal relationships. To really get how this world works, we're going to tag along with the main characters from the book Angry King. Think of them as our guides, our way into understanding how the dream and all its crazy rules actually function. And just look at these two. On one side, you have Melody Brooks, a young, pretty, petite, snowy owl shifter. And on the other, you've got Agneto Grizz Locklear, a massive grizzly bear shifter who's over a century old and literally more than double her weight. It is the definition of opposites attract, but with a serious magical twist. And their problems are just as different. Melody is dealing with a very real, very human problem. Her career is going nowhere. Grizz, on the other hand, is living a full-on supernatural nightmare. He's been poisoned, his memory's been wiped, and his magic is totally out of control. This whole mess is what pushes Melody to go find help from the immortals at this place called Draoithe, and it yanks them both into this new world. Okay, this is where we get to the good stuff. The rules of the game. So Grizz wakes up in this strange place with no idea who he is or what's going on. He has to learn the rules from square one. And you know what that means? We get to learn them right along with him. So first things first, what is Draoithe? Think of it like a sanctuary, a safe house for all kinds of supernatural beings hidden just outside of Tyler, Texas, of all places. And it's not some lawless free-for-all. It's got a clear system, a high king, and a council of guardians keeping everything in order. All right, so here are the fundamental laws Grizz has to wrap his head around, and fast. 1. Fated mates are a real thing for everybody. 2. Bird shifters have this weirdly specific power. 3. Magic is everywhere. Vampires exist. No big deal. And 4. The justice system, well, it's definitely not like anything in our world. And this little rule right here explains so much of Grizz's confusion. See, he keeps getting totally lost in Melody's eyes, just spacing out completely. We find out from another character, Javier, that it's this special power that bird shifters have. But, and this is the real kicker, it only works on their fated mate. So he's getting this massive clue about their connection, but he has absolutely no context for what it means. This brings us to one of the most, let's call it, jarring parts of Draoithe society. Grizz learns pretty quickly that it's not just the rules of magic that are different here. The rules for crime and punishment are on a whole other level. So you gotta ask yourself, right? In a world full of immortals, what do you even do with the bad guys? You can't just lock them up for 20 to life. The justice has to be permanent. And as Grizz discovers, it is, well, it's pretty creative. And get this, it's not just some random punishment. It's a whole 4-step process. When they catch one of the guys who tortured Grizz, they put him through this very system. The crime is failing to act like a man, and the punishment is, well, to literally lose his manhood and then be forced to serve the women of Draoithe for all of eternity as something called a dragon sworn. And that's a key detail. This isn't just about punishment. It's about redefining your entire existence. In a world where dying might not even be the end, this kind of eternal, powerless service is seen as way, way worse than just being killed. It tells you everything you need to know about their rigid and very permanent moral code. But Draoithe isn't all about punishment, not by a long shot. It's also about purpose. The story makes it really clear that fitting in isn't just about being saved, it's about being given a meaningful place in the community. Just look at Melody's situation. She gets there with her career as a fashion designer totally stalled out. The High King, Luke, he doesn't just offer her a safe place to stay. He offers her a dream job. He sees her skills and gives her a way to not just survive, but to actually thrive and build her own business. And it's the exact same thing for Grizz. Once he starts getting his bearings, he explains that his background isn't in magic or fighting. He's a rancher. He knows how to fix fences and work with animals. And instead of being dismissed, those skills are seen as absolutely vital to helping the community build something real and sustainable. And that's the real transformation here. The story takes these characters when they're at their absolute lowest, beaten, broken, totally lost, and shows that true healing doesn't come from a magic potion. It comes from finding a purpose, using your skills, and building a community together. So that kind of leaves us with a final thought, right? In a genre that's so often about huge battles and epic magical fights, the Draoithe Saga offers up a different kind of heroism. It makes you wonder, in a world of immortals and magic, maybe the greatest victory isn't about destroying your enemies. Maybe it's about building something that actually lasts, something like a home.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this view of a story skeleton, glimpsing the characters, setting, and plot structure along with the twists within the writing in this tale from the Draoithe Saga by Ophelia Kee. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.